Guys, new patch just dropped. New patch just dropped. Many changes have been made. I'm actually gonna go over some of the patch notes right now that is like more important, I guess. The most important patch notes. There's a lot of stuff here that we could potentially go over. Nothing too crazy. There's the new fatality. Oh, new Christmas fatality is in it or whatever. Wi-Fi filter should be in the game. Some invasion stuff, some practice stuff, whatever. Main fighters, some changes have happened for some of the for some characters, but it doesn't seem like, in terms of main fighters, it doesn't seem like a whole lot is happening there, to my knowledge. You know, little things here and there for some characters, like fixing issues, mostly. Yeah, mostly it's just issue fixes that they're talking about for characters. Not a whole lot of stuff, to be honest. Yeah, fixing issues. Reptile says fix the issue that could cause the dash attack follow-up attack to miss against an opponent near the edge of the arena. I've had that happen to me a few times. I guess it's nice that they fixed that, but they didn't say anything about fixing like the back 3-1 whiffing issue on hit, which is a little bit disappointing. They didn't do anything about that. They made his back 2, you can cancel it into a Kameo summon attack. That's interesting. There could be some use to that, potentially. There could be some use to that. I'll show right now actually what that means. So Scorpion, right, that's a summon attack. You can charge this and then cancel into that, or you can charge this and then even like spear away. There could be some application with that. Some stuff could be useful. We'll have to explore further. Like, for example, Motaro has like this low projectile, right? This one. So you could do this into this, and that could be like a little mix-up of sorts. And then on block, it's like plus. Like, what is this on block? Plus 13 on block. You could do some shit like that. You're plus 18, or whatever, based on like the range. So there could be some interesting stuff with that. That could be interesting. They said dash attack follow-up attack no longer enables auto block. Dash attack follow-up attack no longer enables auto block. So that has something to do with this. No longer enables auto block though. I'm not sure how much that really matters, to be honest. This other change here is saying force balls no longer sometimes be able to hit Sub-Zero's ice clone charge after it has disappeared. So let's actually test that. So before the clone would get destroyed immediately if that ball exploded here, but now it's not getting destroyed immediately. I think that's just the main difference. Doesn't have like a lingering hurt box here anymore. Distance between fighters' audio accessibility setting now works correctly with invisibility. Interesting. So it seems to me like they're really not trying to change a whole lot about characters. Like all these characters is just like fix rare issues of this and that, not really giving any like very meaningful changes to characters for the most part. It seems just a lot of like issues that are fixed and stuff. But when it comes to Kameo fighters, they definitely, this is like the Kameo patch, it feels like, more than anything, because quite a few stuff is changing with Kameos. So we got Cyrax. Cybernet now drains meter from opponent while they are trapped until they're hit or released. Cybernet no longer does an alternate hit reaction when done as a wake up reversal. So let's put Cyrax on and see how that looks. How much meter are we draining? So it drains a full bar if you catch him in the net. This is gonna make this really difficult setup for Reptile actually a little bit more useful if you wanted to go for it. Doing that, it's hard to hit, but it could be a little bit more useful now because you can actually drain your opponent's meter. You know, you could do whatever into that, and then you could take a bar of meter, I guess. But yeah, the setup itself is actually quite difficult to hit. But it could be useful, at least more useful than it used to be. Try wake up net. Is there any invisibility on that? Oh, so he just kind of does that. But like, I don't think wake up net's really gonna be all that useful, to be honest. Some Darrius stuff here. It says added heel turn, down an ambush, a new ambush attack that can only perform when the opponent's knocked down or about to land after being hit. Oh, that's interesting. You can only do that in those situations. Eat dirt can be delayed for slightly longer duration. Recharge slightly shorter. Recharge rate's been increased. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think this means that they're making the Kameo moves that you can use them more frequently, right? I think that's what that means. So, like, Darrius, you can do, was it down and you can do down in Kameo, and then you can summon him from behind, but you can only do that when they're airborne or being knocked down. So I can do something like this. Where's it? Oh, and there he is. Can I not summon him in the air? Oh, I can. Okay. So yeah, while they're airborne or while they're like being knocked down, you can do that. Something like that. When you summon him, he doesn't pop up, right? He's just a knockdown. So you kind of have to, like, I guess, time it so that the overhead would hit first in order to actually like get a combo out of it, right? Something like that. Because otherwise, when you do it this way, this launches. So yeah, that's the little bit of a trade-off there, but definitely seems like there might be more usefulness, I think, with Darrius now after that. And remember, like, you know, this is only half of your bar. So that's decent, I think. I think that's decent. What else we got out here? Frost Kameo. How much has this changed? Well, let's test out this Frost Kameo change. Snowflakes begins traveling 10 frames faster, lasts for 20 more frames, and had its collision slightly adjusted. So Frost, I never used Frost. She has this move. She has these moves. She has this ice move, but then she also now has this. So apparently that's the snowflakes, right? Yeah, right. Back Kameo. It begins traveling 10 frames faster, lasts for 20 more frames. I'm wondering if like this could be useful. Like, that's the startup is still quite high, right? It's 68 frames of startup. That's just still pretty fucking slow. Yeah, I'm wondering like how useful that's gonna be. Maybe I could try to experiment a little bit with it. The good thing about Reptile Frost now is like now you have this overhead, but you can cancel this into the low and definitely could catch people. Definitely could catch people. So, you know, Frost might be a potential option. Might be a potential option for Reptile. So Goro. After executing Punch Walk, the recharge delay is slightly longer and the recharge rate has been increased. Third hit of Punch Walk now recovers 5 frames faster, causes 10 more frames block stun with increased pushback on block. No longer has an extended recovery for main fighter if Goro is interrupted. So they definitely just wanted to make Punch Walk, I guess, somewhat viable. Because up until this point, you don't see anyone using Punch Walk at all. It says recharge delay slightly longer, recharge rate has been increased. So if you do something like this, it says it's +9 on block. If I want to do this on block, what does that look like on block? You can just duck it though. It's so like, I don't know how useful this thing's really gonna be. Maybe it depends on like what string you want to use. But I don't know. I don't know how useful this Goro thing is gonna be because like you can still just easily duck shit. Like, it comes out pretty slow as well. So it's like, I really don't know like why you're gonna want to use that, to be honest. I still don't know how useful like this Goro punch walk is gonna be when you can just interrupt it, you can still just duck it or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Mix up with the Goro overhead, like I guess like there is that, right? You could do that, right? But like I guess it depends as well, like what strings you're gonna be using. But I don't know, we'll see. Kano's eye laser is now a mid, was high, does 10 more damage and does increased damage on block. So they gave a little bit of a buff to Kano. Let's take a look at that. So that's still a punish. Right, that's still a punish. So some characters will still be able to punish it, but you know, it's a mid now. It does 2.5% chip, which, you know, could be useful, I guess, for closing out rounds potentially. So there's that. And if it hits, it does 10% damage on hit. We got Kung Lao, Buzzsaws, increase the recovery on block by 5 frames. So main fighter recovery by 5 frames. So we all know what that's going to be, but I'll just show it since I'm showing everything. So low hat, right? It's plus based on like where you're from, but like if you're doing it on a block string, now it's -3. It used to be +2 and it was still your turn, but now they made it so that 5 frames extra of recovery. Now the thing is, this low hat, guys, for anyone for anyone out there that thinks this change is gonna make Kung Lao suddenly not a good cameo, you're heavily mistaken. The low hat has many great uses. It's a zoning tool. It's a mix-up. It's a mix-up tool, being a low. You get setups off of it with like jumping and stuff and overheads and stuff. So you're getting zoning options, you're getting setup options, you're getting mix-up options. The only thing you're not getting anymore is pressure options off of it. But it never really needed that. So personally, I think this change is more than fair. Honestly, they could have crippled this more than they did, and it still recharges quite fast. So nothing wrong with Lao. Like, sure, it's a little bit of a nerf, but I think Lao will be just fine. All right, so Motaro seems to have gotten some pretty big changes out here. Look at this. After executing reflect and moving reflect, the recharge rate has been increased. Tail shot, the recharge delay is slightly shorter and the recharge rate has been increased. And adjusted tail shot collision size, and it now causes 10 more frames of block stun with increased push back on block. They buffed the fuck out of Motaro's tail shot, and they made his reflect better. So this recharge rate they increased. It's not bad there, right? Moving reflect and shit. Before, the recharge rate was pretty shit. Now look at that. That's actually really significant. I wonder how useful that's going to be now. Like, the thing is, now that you don't have to like use your whole cameo thing to like reflect stuff, really, like, see how fast this is recharging? Holy shit, like, that's gonna be so much more useful. I don't know, it's kind of slow on startup. The 37 frame startup is kind of slow, so you kind of have to use it, I feel, more so as an anticipation of projectiles, but I think it's gonna be definitely a lot better. And like this tail shot now, Jesus, man, like you can, so something like this, I'm actually curious, is that, how real is this? They can probably just poke out, right? If I want to do that, right? They can poke out of that. But like, obviously you're gonna have to be like ready for it, right? Not everyone's gonna be ready all the time, and it does seem to come out fairly quick. You're gonna have to like know what options you have, what are like the best options to actually like mix that in, I guess. Because like, it's gonna be possible to poke out of that, but yeah, I'll have to see like what stuff gives the best windows for securing that. Stand forward to that is pretty fucking real. Obviously, you can probably slide, but, you know. And then if you do block this, he's plus 13 off of that? Oh my god. Plus 13? Dude, plus 13? That's crazy. Yeah, so that's Motaro. Definitely could see some good stuff with that. It's saying here, Sareena, Kia blades will no longer sometimes still return after they are destroyed. What does it mean by sometimes? What does it mean by sometimes return? Does something like this. Does that still return? Oh, oops, just wrong one. Right, let's say you do that. Does that still return? Still returns. So I don't know what they mean by sometimes return, because that still behaves the same way like that. This is a big change for Scorpion right here. After executing get over here, recharge delay is slightly shorter, recharge rate has been increased. So they made his retreating spear, I guess, slightly better with less cooldown on it. But then, dude, Hell Blades recovers 16 frames faster on block and 5 frames faster on miss. Y'all know what the Hell Blades are? His fucking overhead? Dude. The overhead is -2 on block. Now, the thing is, guys, the overhead, right? It's 30 frames, okay? It's a 30 frame overhead. So it is reactable, but it is gonna hit people, okay? It's gonna hit people because people aren't always gonna block correctly. And like, sure, like the best players out there, like I think especially maybe in the offline settings and stuff like that, the overhead, it should be getting blocked all the time at like the highest level. It should be getting blocked all the time, but especially like online and shit like that, like, dude, this overhead, it is gonna hit people. And like the fact that it's safe now on block, dude. So like you can do, let's have him stance block and duck. So now like mix-ups like that, like you're getting like, you know, like an easy pickup is 29%, right? If I'm gonna throw out this overhead, there's a harder pickups. I don't know, like I was testing this a little bit. It kind of seemed like some stuff was a little bit tougher, but I'm not sure. But either way, that's almost 33% for a pickup like that. And now when I'm gonna throw out this overhead, you're telling me this is safe? -2? It's -2 with even a little bit of pushback. That overhead is way better. Way better now. It's actually completely, I was not thinking they'd make it completely safe. I was thinking the change I personally wanted for Scorpion was to make his retreating spear an ambush, like, which would make me be able to do shit like that on block and then retreat out. That would probably be a better change. It would make him even better. But like, this is a great change for Scorpion. Making his overhead completely safe is, that's pretty significant, I think. And then like, yeah, like his retreating spear, I think is recovering quicker now than it would previously. And then, you know, you still got your fire shit, right? And whatever. And so pretty good, I think. Like that's a pretty significant change. Now, like Scorpion, you know, I was starting to think, all right, well, Cyrax probably is a better cameo than Scorpion. Honestly, maybe he still might be, because like the thing is, I never said Scorpion was Reptile's best cameo. Just putting this out there, I never said that Scorpion was Reptile's best cameo. I've always just said he's the cameo I have the most fun with and I just enjoy using, so I use it. I never said Scorpion was the best cameo for Reptile, but I do think this is going to make it a lot more scary, like just generally generally better now, I think. So they did that for Scorpion. A Sektor flamethrower first hit starts up 5 frames faster and has 10 more frames of block stun with less pushback on block. I don't really know a whole lot about Sektor. I never really used it, but we'll see. So Sektor says a flamethrower first hit starts up 5 frames faster. What's a flamethrower? This? It says if 5 frames faster, has 10 more frames of block stun with less pushback. So this is actually, it says it's +3 on block with less pushback. Seems like there's a lot of pushback there to me. What if you do this in the corner? Okay, so there's really no pushback in the corner, and you're just +3, I guess. That's kind of interesting. His Sektor's Kameo is actually recharging as he's doing this move. So you'll actually probably be able to use it a fair amount. Like, he's actually recharging as he's even doing that move, and then you can have access to it again. How much chip is this doing? It's doing almost, what, 3% chip or something? A little bit more. It's not bad. It's not bad. And it's +3 now. That's not bad. It's not gonna really make me want to use Sektor, but it could be useful. See how long this missile takes though to recharge? Look how long it takes before that missile actually starts building back. Compared to this, it just starts building back immediately. Like, that's a pretty big difference. The missiles like take much longer for it to come back. Shujinko Kameo, increased base health value from 400. So now you get an extra 100 health from Shujinko. Mimic smoke invisibility will no longer sometimes be removed if hit during certain timing during activation. Shujinko will no longer be able to pass through the opponent in the Kenshi and Shujinko mirror match when copycat is used by both players at the same time. Okay, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I think the biggest thing for Shujinko is that you get an extra 100 health now. Probably. Sonya, leg grab, now has up block vulnerability and recovers 18 frames faster on block or miss. Energy rings now hits mid. Let me see some Sonya over here. Energy rings now hits mid, has slightly increased damage scaling and increased main fighter recovery on block by 5 frames. Okay, energy rings when fully charged has a different hit reaction with slightly increased damage scaling. Okay, so why does that look so slow? What the fuck? It's still -9 on block, so you can't really do this safely, but it's safer, I guess, the leg grab, than what it was. Something like that. I guess it's safer, but it's not safe. And now her rings are mids, but it says it's -4. So it says, yeah, they increased recovery on block by 5 frames. I think before it was actually +1. Now it's -4, but it's a mid. So like, I guess you can kind of use it more so in zoning and shit. These, because you got these mid rings now. It recovers pretty darn fast. Like, it's definitely going to be a good like projectile option for those characters that don't really have. You can basically just do it 3 times in succession without having to really worry about it coming back, and then you can just do it again. Like, the recovery rate on those rings is really good, so it can definitely be a good zoning tool. It's not really going to be good for pressure at all though. It's -4. It's safe, but it's mainly, I think, going to be good for zoning. And then you do have the option to charge it. Yeah, you have the option to charge it. What does they do? 17.5, and then if you charge it, it does a little bit more damage. So there's that. The recovery on the rings is like basically non-existent though. Like, it's fast as shit. Yeah, those are the Sonya changes. Then we got Stryker, fixed visual issue with cuffed that could occur when hitting an opponent maximum range. So nothing really changed for Stryker. We might be finding ourselves in the Stryker meta now because, you know, he has been already. Like, a lot of people have been finding that Stryker is actually really freaking good. So we might be seeing a lot of Stryker, but with some of these buffs to some of these other cameos, I'm really happy about that, because I think it'll let people still take the time to potentially explore some of these other cameos. This Goro punch walk stuff, I really don't know if that's going to be all that great. This Frost snowflake stuff, I don't know, maybe that'll be useful. Maybe Darrius stuff might be useful. Cyrax net drain, the problem with that is just how difficult it is to actually hit people with the net. So I don't know how useful it's going to be, but if you get it, you know, you could get a bar a meter from them. Kano eye laser, I guess that's like, it's a decent change. I don't think it's going to be anything that great. The Kung Lao nerf is honestly, I don't think that bad. It's not going to change a whole lot, I think, for a lot of the people that do like to use Lao, with the exception of maybe Johnny Lao. Motaro changes seem pretty significant to me. Like, 10 more frames of block stun, that's kind of crazy. And how fast this reflect stuff recharges now is, I think, going to be pretty useful. The Scorpion change, dude, I think that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy that they made his overhead completely safe on block. That's pretty crazy in my opinion. Like, I think that's going to help a lot and it's going to make facing people that use Scorpion Kameo potentially a lot more annoying, I think. The Sektor change, hard to say how much that's really going to matter. Shujinko change, an extra 100 health is always nice. The Sonya change, I don't really know how much that's going to change or help, because she did get some increased damage scaling and stuff. And then we got Tremor. He has an extra 100 health, fixed base health from 400 to 300 to 400 from 300, so an extra 100 health for Tremor. An issue that was preventing crystalline armor from being broken after being hit 5 times. Oh, okay. All right, so nothing too crazy. Maybe they made the crystal armor slightly worse because now it can actually be broken. Before, I don't think it could, but you get an extra 100 health now when you're using Tremor. That's going to be nice for the Reiko players out there, because now they're getting an extra 100 health. If you guys are watching on YouTube, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new.